Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and it's time, friends. Yes, it's time for the Deathmate comic that time forgot. It's Deathmate Red, coming at you. But first, so what is Blood Force? This is Blood Force. Blood Force is a celebration / send-up of 90s extreme comics. It's itself a comic book. It's drawn by me and also written by me. It's all me. I'm to blame for this. So you may be asking yourself, how do I go about reading Blood Force? And the answer is, you open up the description to this video. In there you'll find a link to my Patreon. Subscribe there. That will give you access to all of the Blood Force pages. It'll also give you access to all the process stuff. I usually include stuff like just pencils lying out there. You'll get all the videos. You'll also get some pre-Blood Force stuff. All this just for $3 American. It's an absolute steal. And of course, the more subscribers we get, the closer we get to the goal of publishing Blood Force. But that's a ways off. First thing we got to do, baby steps, is we need subscribers first. So subscribe today, read some Blood Force comics, help get Blood Force out on those shelves. And this certainly sounded like I had a third thing to say, but I don't. Okay, so Deathmate Red. I'm sure a few people may remember the deal with Deathmate Red, or at least parts of it. So let's just go over real quick what exactly happened there. So when they were putting together the whole Deathmate thing, Bob Layton had a clause put in to the agreement stating that he would get like final inks on all Image books, I believe. It doesn't look like he was credited on anything on Deathmate Black, and it also doesn't look like he was credited on anything on Deathmate Red. Although that may be because Extreme published Deathmate Red, and they didn't want anything to have his name on it back here. Yeah, there's no mention of Bob Layton in the back here. At least not in the main names anyway. So what happens is Rob doesn't get Bob Layton the pages. And Bob Layton has to drive out to California and pick up the pages from Rob. And he goes out there and he sits on Rob's doorstep until Rob either finishes the pages or finds them and gives them to him. And from Rob's recounting of this, he agrees that this happened. Bob Layton, I think, thought that the pages weren't done. Rob claims the pages were done, but he didn't like Bob Layton's inking style, so he didn't want to give them to him. So he was just being a dick. This is the Rob side of things. Bob Layton just thought they were completed. So, which is a weird thing for Rob to claim, because he's very money conscious. And he's got to know that fucking around with distributors and the retail stores and everything, just like, that's messing with your own money at that point. So I don't know exactly. I mean, if he says that's what the deal was, I think we can probably believe him. It doesn't exactly make him look good. Makes him look ridiculously petulant and petty. Anyway, Bob Layton apparently gets the pages, takes them back to his hotel, and inks them there. Even though, again, Danny Miki is credited with the inks. So I don't particularly know what's going on there. Anyway, Deathmate Red comes out so late that they had to cancel all the orders. Deathmate Epilogue comes out in the meantime, by the way. So as far as everybody knows, there is no such thing as Deathmate Red. And then months later, Deathmate Red gets issued. And, it's completely resolicited for much lower numbers than was originally done, by the way. And the readers didn't necessarily, not everybody knew what to make of it. Some people were like, is this like a post-epilogue? Like, what's the deal here? So if it was just a matter of Rob sitting on the pages because, fuck you, Bob Layton, he really shot himself in the foot on that. I don't know. I don't think he cares too much these days. Still. We're going to get a fairly involved Rob cover. No backgrounds. The closest thing we get to a background is bullet holes and plaster getting shot out. That's something. But these figures have, they're pretty well fleshed out. There's like lines on them and shit. I mean, if it was a cover done today, they'd both just be standing there. We all know that, right? Knees right here, so that we couldn't see where Shaft's knees or Shaft's feet ended here, and Bloodshot's feet ended down here. That's the important thing. And they both have these hands at their sides, staring straight ahead. That's the Liefeld way these days. All right, so getting into it. Part 1 is completely written by Rob Liefeld. Part 2, Eric Stevenson. So this is going to be brigade style for Part 2. And on pencils, we've got Jeff Matsuda, Richard Horry, Dan Fraga, Cedric Nocone, or Nochone, or something. I don't know that name. I think he kind of becomes the guy who fills in on like Supreme and stuff later on. Mark Pacella, or Pacella, Anthony Wynn, don't know that one either. He gets a few pages in this though. And 1 page of Merritt Michaels. Merritt Michaels is actually drawing issues though. Maybe we should let Merritt Michaels slide on this one. Don't worry, I'll recognize. I know what page he's got. And this one is a little famous for Rob taking all the good colors. You see here, all this stuff looks kind of plain Jane, and then he gets Kiko Takanashi doing all his colors and making his shit look good. And then as soon as we cut to somebody else, oh, they're not quite as good anymore. What do you know? Yeah. Ooh. All right, we'll get there. Okay, so we're going to steal the Spawn, the talking heads. And they're going to give us a little bit of what these guys do, where they give you a background on the world without flooding you with text boxes. So it's a better delivery system than what they did in Deathmate Black. So give them that anyway. Rob's always a marginally better writer than I expect him to be. He's not good in any way. But it's always like, oh shit, I didn't think you could think of that. All right, good job, I suppose. So this is all terrorist situation stuff. So all this stuff here is, it's very basic background. It's just there's a terrorist situation at a nuclear power plant that is owned by Toyo Harada, who is the head of the Carbinger Corporation, who was mentioned in Deathmate Yellow and we'll see much more of in Deathmate Blue. And Harada does a we don't negotiate with terrorists kind of thing. And they mention Al Simmons' boys, who used to be of young blood, until they ran into egg breakers at the Harada food processing plant's groundbreaking 4 months ago. And anyway, so Youngblood in this world are essentially the security team, or the strike force of Harada. Kind of the way Blood Force is like the security team / strike force of Maxtremis. If that makes it, I think that clarifies things for us. And so this is Rob's new, even more stripped down style. So this is what I'm talking about with the cover had some effort on it, because you can see there's a fair amount of line work on this cover. It's a bit old-fashioned for Rob. And this is a bit closer to his X-Force style. But in here, there's no ponytail here. Ooh. How about later on? No, it doesn't look like... Man, he changed his mind. Or he forgot. Because all that This Blood's For You stuff, that came out... When did that even come out? Youngblood number 4. So February of 93. So by the time he's actually drawing these pages, it's like a year later. He's forgotten all about that ponytail. But you see how little line work there is on all the figures in here. This is a bit of effort towards the backgrounds we don't usually see from Rob. But that's okay, because we're going to completely forget about it in a second. But here's the team of Youngblood, and this is one of the early appearances of Dutch, which is a Chad Yape creation. And it looks like Rob only wanted Bloodshot because he figured he was the coolest Valiant character. And we get our classic seat, but like everybody standing around, knees at the horizon line, or knees at the bottom of the page. So that we can't see that his legs should be way lower than her legs. Meanwhile, like this is like Badrock's ass down here. Somewhere around here. This is the thing. Everybody likes to say Liefeld can't draw feet. He can draw feet. Reiterating, there's feet right there. There's feet there. No backgrounds, but there's feet. But you put guys side by side, I'm not drawing those feet. Those feet will all disagree with each other. So this is listen up team time. This is Rob Liefeld in his usual kind of thing where nothing really needed to be said. You get the gist just by looking at the page. Shaft is addressing his team. He's telling them what's going to go down. Badrock's like, I'm going to go in. And he's like, yeah. That's everything. Yeah, but again, the I'm not drawing lines on everything style here, including, but I am going to draw more shadow because that eats up a lot more space. Unless these are Bob Layton pages. Oh, that maybe does change things. Hard to say. They say Danny Miki. Do we have any of those little ticks? Oh, a little bit in here. This might actually be Danny Miki. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway. So I imagine they're on some kind of flying fortress kind of thing. Or helicopters. There's some big ass fucking helicopters, man. Like, look at the room on that helicopter. There's a hallway on that helicopter. And we're going to get the thing where Rob, yeah, he doesn't know what to say, so he's just going to fill up the word balloons, but not as obsessively as, say, Eric Silvestri. So, the boy of stone leaps defiantly into the air. His body surges with adrenaline, for this is what he lives for. The rush, the excitement, the thrill. And, yeah, big ol' punchy pages. I mean, is there anything even to say about this? It's fine for fight stuff. That's not, in my opinion. That ain't shit. You know? Like, he could be doing jumping jacks here, and they're all going, holy shit! And just flying out of the way. That doesn't look like anything. And, yeah, dude's bouncing around. Badrock's like, I'm in. And Shaft with his lots of shadows, so I don't have to draw detail. Or Bob Layton's rushing things. Who knows? And then Die Hard shows up. Like, this is, it's so hard to even come up with commentary on this. Should I read out the unnecessary captions? He is an efficient killing machine, relentless in his programming, heartless in his soul. You know. We're quite a few pages in. We have gotten no story. No descriptions whatsoever. And I was saying in the Deathmate Black issue that we didn't need a lot of backstory, didn't I? So is this ideal? Like, this is 15 pages into the Rob part of the story right here. After the Jeff Matsuda thing. That's all he got, was those talking heads. I mean, at least they paid him twice for the same page, maybe? Maybe. It's still kind of a drag. But yeah, this is 15 pages into the Rob thing. Out of a total of 21, by the way. He actually did quite a bit of the artwork on this. So, that kind of... It feels like that gives him a bit of slack in terms of the Youngblood schedule. Because remember, there were big swaths where he wasn't drawing anything. Yeah, no Youngblood issues were coming out. The only problem is, which gap does Deathmate Red fit into? You know? Because there were gaps in between pretty much every issue, except I think 1 and 2. That was just a regular 2-month gap. That's nothing. So was this between 3 and 4 or 4 or 5? Or 5 and like a year later was 6, whatever the fuck it was. Because this is still just an issue's worth. So now we're still running into the power plant, and Vogue has to do something because Rob keeps insisting on putting a girl on the team, but he can't think of anything for her to do, so she's gonna kick. That's what girls do. And we get nice of you guys to finally show up. I was beginning to think this was a solo mission. There isn't a cliche Rob doesn't know. And then they get to the leader of the terrorists, who is some old man, judging by the number of lines on his face there. And he's got a detonator, and he's going to blow up the reactor here. There's no description of who this is. I always thought this was somebody important, like the 1 or 2 times I saw Deathmate Red. Because you see this shot, it's like, oh man, he's like an important dude. So like Eternal Warrior or something, maybe. No, he doesn't get a name. As is per usual with Liefeld. And he's demanding an audience with Harada. And Shaft managed to sneak in behind him and shot him with the arrows. So this is... That's the end of the Liefeld thing. That was 21 pages. Of a kill the terrorists thing. That's not including this stuff. This is on top of that. You think of the vignettes in like Deathmate Yellow. Deathmate Black was all one slog. But the vignettes in Deathmate Yellow, they tended to be in the neighborhood of like, I don't know, between 8 and 12 pages, which I think is about right for that kind of thing. This, yeah, man, shit. I suppose it's action, right? There's some shooting going on here, and kicks, and for some reason Die Hard still has a shield, and some punching for 20 goddamn pages in your special edition book. Man, oh man. So now we're moving on. Is this part 2? I think it is. Which would make it... Yeah, because part 1, all the pencils were by Rob Liefeld, except for the Jeff Matsuda bit. So this is all going to be written by Eric Stevenson, so I think things are going to slow way down. And Eric Stevenson remembers that there's some sort of overarching plot that he maybe should be paying lip service to. So we're going to actually get our first appearance of Prophet since the prologue. And he's gonna watch and he's gonna wait, and watching in despair as everything that was once familiar to him twists and changes. Friends are now foes. Wrong is right. Bad is good. Deathmate's been going on for 1.5 years at this point, man. We fucking know. And anyway, he gets knocked out. Him and his Ultimate Warrior hair. And he gets woken up by Al Simmons and Chapel, who are a power couple by the looks of it. And, the new men are coming. Find out an Extreme Prejudice. It's one of the Extreme crossovers. Kind of looking forward to that one. I never kept up with that when it came out. I'm ready for the nonsense. Just about. I mean, I need to read another couple of dozen various Extreme books in order to really prep myself, but I feel like I'm getting there. So this is Al Simmons and Chapel and what's his name? Kirby. And what looks like Eternal Warrior. I'm not going to try and say his name anymore. I fucked it up so bad. so many times in the other one. Anyway. And they're like, what's a dude in a purple jumpsuit doing standing on a cliff? Sounds suspicious to me. And that really does seem to be the only reason that they're questioning him. I believe he's at what's left of the power plant. Well, no, the power plant's still there. Yeah, so he was watching the power plant when Youngblood came out. So that's the deal. And Prophet's all weirded out because this is obviously Chapel, who I fought alongside countless times with Youngblood. And what? No, you didn't. I mean, you fought alongside him once in Youngblood number 5. And Prophet number 1, and maybe like a couple others have come out since then, but I'm pretty sure that Prophet and Chapel have not teamed up since then. But this is definitely Chapel, because nobody else would wear that face paint, especially not with a flat top. But, oh man, look at it. Al Simmons might have him kind of beat on the flat top there. That's, man, the Jerry curl flat top. How do you even pull that off? But, yeah, no, now we're going to slow things way down, and we're going to get some backstory about the founding of New Harada. And just these guys all kind of broke free from Youngblood. And they're now called Night Strike, because of course they are. And now they're all anti-Harada and shit. And Chapel's still like, "What side you on, boy?" And he's like, "I don't even know what the fuck is going on." And Gilad is like, "I believe him." And I also have felt the disturbances in the Force. And we are just completely running out of steam here for backgrounds, aren't we? These are some thankless pages. Like, this is all just standing around talking for 10 pages. And at this point, Dan Fraga is like completely out of background juice. He's got nothing left. He had all he had. He dumped into this one here. But, you know, let's not forget, he did get to start off with that one, and he got paid for that. So he doesn't get a whole lot of sympathy. But, yeah, no, everything got into this one. He starts to lose steam pretty quick. He drew some cars, though. So he, for some reason, why do you draw those cars? Anyway. But he doesn't have a whole lot of energy left for background panels. And then he's just screen doors. And here he's got nothing. Not a damn thing. Oh, well. Dan Frank is still pretty young at this point. And apparently, Al Simmons is quite a bit shorter than Chapel. That would work. I mean, like, Chapel's supposed to be kind of massive, right? Except that he didn't appear to be earlier on. If anything, they do appear to be on a similar plane here, and Chapel does seem to be quite a bit larger, or smaller, rather. Anyway, so they're going to... So they cut Prophet down, and they're going to go on a 10 Harbinger Day, where Harada will show off all of his tech and his superheroes and be like, I'm a big old dictator dude. And they're going to blow shit up at Harbinger Day. But Dan Fraga doesn't get to draw any of that. And there's the Youngblood cartoon that never came out. That was the one that never came out. I confused it with the Wildcats one. I've been corrected since. Wildcats did, in fact, come out. And now everyone will be sorry. So we're moving on to Harbinger Day, drawn by Mark Pacella, who I've never liked. Even back when first, I remember him starting out filling in on X-Force. Right after Liefeld left. I think that was... I probably picked up a couple of the Liefeld issues towards the end, like the last couple. And then you get Mark Pacella, and it was like, oh my god, what is this? Like, it's not even like stripped down Liefeld. This is more like stripped down Valentino. Which is not a great look. And you gotta love these... There's shortcuts and then there's shortcuts. So these guys are you got to think are these guys here as well. So they're soldier guys with big old super soaker water guns. And so that's them here as well, but it's just the outlines. And we're going to hope that the colorist does something interesting to fill it in. Didn't really, though, did he? Kind of hung you out to dry. That's what you deserve. And so Youngblood are going to shoot out on their flying jet skis, which Badrock doesn't even fit in. So I guess this is like another flying control center thingy that... Yeah, okay, so that's that thing. All right, that was kind of set up. Kind of. I mean, you probably should have drawn the thing so we'd known what was coming and that you didn't just spill some ink on the page. But anyway, they're coming to show off, like you said, the tech and the superheroes and stuff, and they're going to scout ahead to make sure the coast is clear. And there's some sort of disturbance up ahead with explosions. I bet that's a Night Strike explosion. I'd know it anywhere. And we're going, I think this is, see, now there starts to be a bit of a confusion about who's drawing what, because everything gets kind of mixed up. Richard Horry was in there somewhere. When did that happen? You know what, I think he got these pages. I assume these were Dan Panosian. I mean, Dan Panosian is drawing Prophet at this time, I think. So yeah, I just kind of figured that was him. But no, I guess this is Richard Horry. How's that gun look? It looks a little technical assistant-y. So this is going to be a mix of Mark Pasella now, sure, along with Anthony Wynn and Cedric Nocone. I'm not going to get that one right no matter what. And I don't know who's who in this. So Shaft is going to investigate the probably Night Strike explosion. And this is a completely different guy. I don't know who he is, but he's a fair bit better than the usual slew of extreme rookies. It's not great. Watch this be Mark Pasella again. But like this kind of stuff doesn't look too bad, really. Interesting take on Badrock there. That looks like kind of dashed off style, but like the kind of thing where like somebody who's been doing this for a while. And the proportions are kind of off, but it's not terrible. So yeah, I hope this isn't Mark Pasella because I made a big deal about how I didn't like his style. And yeah, now we're going to get our big old fight. And Prophet's going to try and make Shaft listen to reason. Oh, and here's our one Merritt Michaels page. You can tell a mile off. And this is the earlier Merritt Michaels stuff. Is it though? I guess. I mean, well, maybe it's the inking. I don't know. This is... Because by now he should be looking like Volume 2 of Brigade Merritt Michaels, but this doesn't look like that. Not quite, anyway. Ooh, he's trying here. Look at him go. So he puts Shaft into a half Nelson, because everybody always listens when you put him into a half Nelson. And Shaft is going to kick him off his jet ski. So down below, while Prophet is hanging on to Shaft's jet ski, Dutch takes out Al Simmons, even though Al's trying to get a boy out of the way. Die Hard smacks Kirby. Kirby has a thermal detonator and blows the both of them up. There is artwork here, actually, if you look closely. But it all got blacked in. Nothing else did. Whose idea was that? That's fucking dumb. And Chapel is fighting Bloodshot. Is just about to get to kill him, and then Dutch shoots him from behind. And this is all just kind of pointless, and everybody's getting murdered. Gilad takes out Badrock. Looks like he punches right through him. Hard to say. Dutch runs up. He just kind of flings himself at him. That's quite the running pose. Galad snaps his neck. And Prophet, while still having him in the half Nelson, or having him in the half Nelson again maybe, is trying to convince Shaft that the space-time continuum is falling apart while they're flying through the air. It's like, you know what? First, like, maybe try to convince him that you're not trying to kill him, then go with the space-time continuum discussion. Shaft flies himself directly into the side of a building, trying to shake him off. Well done. And then Prophet falls to the ground, and Galad is just flat out dead. And we're not sure why. Unless he knocked over the building? Because he's lying like a pile of rubble. I don't know what the hell happened there. Maybe Galad exploded. Probably, right? And Prophet has himself a big old cry because he didn't get to bring anybody else to the Jamboree at the end of the world. So, Deathmate Red had nothing to do with anything in the story. Which is probably for the best, considering how long it took to come out. Oh, but, as a consolation, Troll's coming out soon. So watch out for that. So yeah, that's Deathmate Red. There were 2 fights. Everyone died in the second fight. And that was it. So Prophet didn't have anything to do with anything. He knew shit was wrong, but couldn't fix it. That's a drag. Maybe Jeff will have more luck. Probably. He's going to be written by the Valiant guys. But so that just leaves Deathmate Blue and then the epilogue. We're moving along. Yeah. So that's going to do it for this one. That was a comic. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Go over to my Twitter and follow me there. But most importantly, I've almost got this bit down now, eh? Go over to my... Oh, shit, I fucked it up. Go over to my Patreon and subscribe there. That's where I keep all the Blood Force pages, all the process stuff. And that's where these videos go as soon as they're uploaded, where you can see the actual rest of Deathmate, the story bits, not just Deathmate Red. But, yeah, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.